Yo, what's up, guys? This is a WBR Podcast coming at you with another Raw recap. This one is from October 12th, live from Chicago. So the Raw starts off with Kane talking on the phone with the Authority, and then they keep calling him, telling him that their plane flight is delaying and they're not going to be there for a while. What do you think about that?
I thought it was a terrible idea to start off Raw, and they kept having more and more calls throughout the show, and there was mad diminishing returns. Because the more they did it, the less I cared about the gimmick. They could have thought of something way more clever, I feel. It was such a cheap escape for them just to be, Kane's in control, to have the lumberjack match.
Yeah, because another thing is, usually when Raw starts, the camera is on the crowd, and then what happens is you hear somebody's music, and then everybody goes crazy. This one was like Kane talking on the phone with the Authority. That's how Raw starts.
It's kind of like an asterisk to start off Raw. You're like, it's probably going to be a terrible Raw with the way they started off.
And then, yeah, it was like you didn't hear anybody's music coming in, like the crowd going crazy. So I thought
just the whole corporate
weird.
Kane gimmick is getting really lame. How they keep zooming into his world, number one directors of operation mug. He has that weird smile. Then he keeps changing personas. Do they not realize he's the same guy?
I do think they're leaning towards getting rid of that though, pretty soon. Yeah. I think especially after this pay-per-view.
I really hope they get rid of that gimmick.
So what do you think about that? Out of 10, that very very beginning of Raw.
Honestly, man. Probably 2 out of 10. I really didn't want to continue watching Raw because of that opening segment.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit interesting, but it just the way that it started, how it was anticlimactic, the crowd wasn't going crazy. It was just a video. Imagine being there live. You're seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, you just sit there okay.
Yeah, this is the beginning of Raw. This is
I paid how much for these tickets?
Yeah.
And this is how Raw's going to start?
Yeah, but it was a little bit unconventional. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I think it was necessary for the plot point, but they could have thought of something way better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking to you, WWE creatives.
Yeah, maybe we're going to be the new creatives. Okay, so we'll get into the next part here. So right after that, then Dean Ambrose comes out. His music plays, and then the crowd reaction. That's what I like to see. But before that whole Kane thing, right? So he comes out, he has a little bit of a promo, and then Randy comes, and they talk about, they're going to be teaming up or whatever. What do you think about that?
I actually thought it was pretty interesting because Dean Ambrose hasn't started off Raw in God knows how long. He does have the talent, and
you can see a lot.
Yeah, but you can see the way the crowd reacts to Dean Ambrose. They're in favor of him. It kind of reminded me of when John Cena comes in and he does maybe a U.S. Open and he starts off with a mic, but people are in tune and they're not taunting him. They want to know what he's saying, right? So it kind of shows that he has potential to be a face in the WWE if he just gets the opportunity to. Because he's been putting guys over ever since the Shield broke up and then they had the Seth Dean feud, which was great.
Yeah, that championship match.
And then Seth went over and then Dean's been putting people over. He hasn't gotten his shot yet.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great start to... I think they're testing the waters to see.
The thing is, the reason why I think they did this, and I'm all for it, is because they know John Cena is going to be leaving. And they need to bring these stars back up to the main, first tier.
So you predict somebody else is going to open up Raw next Raw.
Exactly.
Just to test the waters, see who gets the best reaction.
Let's say next week, instead of them, let's say Wade Barrett even starts it off. Because they're going to have people stepping up and filling these roles instead of John Cena because they know he's going to be gone. So they're doing it as early as possible, get the crowd ready for it. That's what I think they did.
Season, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think it was really good that they started Raw off like this.
Yeah, it's good, but I'm afraid that if John Cena does take a leave of absence and then he comes back, all this is for naught.
Yeah, that's the thing. It really depends. If Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton and the other guys like Wade Barrett are really entertaining, I think they could stay at the top for an extended period of time. Maybe they'll make John Cena do something else that's not automatically win the title right away.
Maybe but I think we're jumping the gun a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's still not even, it's yet to be said. No one really knows for sure. But so while they were talking, the New Day comes in and they cut him off and they're talking about how they're the dominant team. They start making fun of the Shield and Legacy. All the evolution.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
but I wanted to take a step back first though.
Okay.
Because you know how when Dean and Randy, they had their little promos against each other, how they're going to team up? Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty interesting because both the characters are pretty alpha male. I think the way they're booking them is wrong. They should be feuding right now.
Okay.
Because I know they have to make them feud with the Wyatts just for consistency's sake. But you know how they're two alpha males and they're both a similar character where they don't work well with each other? They said that in the promos.
They literally said that exactly.
So why would they be teaming up? They should be feuding.
Yeah.
And then, whoever feuds, they can start off Raw. It would be like they're two superstars. Why not?
Yeah, they could definitely do that. To me, it doesn't make sense because they made like Braun Strowman seem really big, and then all of a sudden he's like losing matches to Roman Reigns via countout.
Well, at least there's a countout.
But
we're also jumping again.
But that's later.
Yeah,
that's later.
That's later.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
But other than that, it's good to see how two superstars can get such a big reaction from the crowd.
Yeah.
And they're both fighting for the crowd's love, and I love it. Like why not? Like they should push the envelope with that further. However, I wasn't mad at the way everything transpired. When the New Day's music hit.
Oh yeah.
Because like whenever the music hits, you're in store for something entertaining, which I don't mind at all. What did you think about the whole promo? They're dropping bombs.
Yeah, they're dropping bombs. The thing is with the New Day is I love what's happening with them right now. I really want to know what their ceiling is and what the WWE like creators are thinking about this, like the writers. Are they going to make them go after the US title and actually win it? Are they going to make them go for the World Heavyweight Championship? Because I think that would be interesting too, right? Or actually win a title, another one. So I think that's the question mark in my head. I don't know what they're going to do, but I would love to know. The way they started off Raw was extremely entertaining. And then they said that Derrick Rose line, making fun of the crowd, saying Derrick Rose.
They had no remorse, man. Because at least the Deflategate one, the Patriots are champions, right? Mm-hmm. This one is just like salt on the wound.
Salt on the wound, hitting Derrick Rose when he's down. I thought that was really entertaining. And I love how the crowd is saying, New Day rocks. They're actually saying rocks now instead of sucks.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people, most of them. I thought that's really cool.
But I think their position right now, they're a pretty good tool for WWE to have right now. Because they're kind of like the monkey wrench to kind of thwart plans. Because in this whole Raw, they weren't used just once. They're used twice, right? Later on in the Lumberjack match. They escalate things. So I think that's a good spot for them to push the story. But I'm definitely interested to see how their ceiling will play out as well.
Yeah, that's going to be, all said and done. We're going to see how that's going to go. The next thing is John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler in the US Open Challenge. What do you think about this match?
It was actually a really good match to watch. But before that, it's like, I don't understand what WWE is. There's like a consistency issue. It's like, just last week, the New Day took you guys out. Both Dolph Ziggler and John Cena. Then when the New Day comes out, they don't do anything to, try to retribute what happened last week. Then they have a good match. And then the New Day doesn't do anything to put a monkey wrench.
Yeah.
It's like, did they just suddenly forget? Because John Cena comes out, he has this whole promo about how, he had his first match here, how he loves Chicago. It's like, dude, you guys just got stomped last week.
Yeah, by the New Day.
By the New Day, and then you two have a match. What happened? You guys got...
They're just like ignoring it. Yeah, they don't address it. They forget about it. That's true. That's the consistency issue. I thought the match itself, again, it was amazing because Dolph Ziggler and John Cena are probably one of the best wrestlers that there are in the business.
They have the chemistry together because they've done it so many times.
Yeah, they really do. The match was very good. One thing I wanted to touch on was that I watched a little video with Alberto Del Rio, and he was getting interviewed about how he got fired from wrestling.
Yeah.
And the big thing that he was saying was that he hated how Dolph Ziggler wouldn't ever, win a championship or whatever because he was one of the most entertaining and talented. That's what Alberto Del Rio said. So, and then after watching this match, because I watched the interview a day before that, it makes so much sense. You see his moves and the way he actually sells every blow that he takes. That's the biggest thing to me. That DDT when he did it off the top rope, looked so real.
He's definitely got the best sales. One of the best in the business.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And credit to John Cena as well. I know I'm a huge critic of him, but they put on one hell of a match. Everybody knew that the outcome was going to be John Cena winning, which is a big major flaw of the WWE.
Yeah, but they got to do it before. Back in the days, titles can switch hands on Raw.
Yeah, why don't they just make it? Imagine they just made it switch this week.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it switches. Yeah. John Cena can retain in the pay-per-view and everything goes according to normal, but it makes Raw that much more exciting to watch.
Exactly.
Somebody can become a new champion and
then maybe next week on Raw, even if it's literally the next Raw, John Cena wins it back. At least for that one Raw, they don't know 100% that he's going to retain it. So that's true. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, but all in all, a solid match. It was
Yeah.
it was a good way to start off the second hour of Raw, because if you remember last week, the second hour of Raw,
Yeah.
it was terrible. This John Cena's role right now is a good filler. He can fill maybe like 30 minutes of a time slot.
Yeah.
Like, assuming he has a good match.
They're gonna have to think of a good way to replace that 30 solid minutes that he takes up.
But they're kind of like doing it in a time slot where it's less important. It's
Yeah.
kind of right in the middle. They're kind of assimilating him out slowly.
That's
which
true,
I don't
yeah.
mind. They're not making a big
Yeah.
deal of the U.S. champion, like the challenge or whatever. They just have a good match and they move on.
Exactly, yeah. And it was an entertaining match. I'll say that one was very good. 1 out of 10. What are you gonna rate this whole little thing?
Everything. The match itself was a solid 8.5 out of 10. With John Cena's promo, I'm a huge critic because we've heard this stuff a million times. Let's say 7.5.
7.5.
7.5 overall, yeah.
Okay, for me, this match, including his promo, everything, I'm actually gonna give this. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
The only point I'm gonna take away is because you know the outcome of the match. You know 100%
true.
that he was gonna win and retain the title. But the other 9 was all for the just sheer entertainment of it, and mostly to Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. One
He
more
was
thing
amazing.
for the consistency thing, though. It's like, I know Lana's not back yet, but it's like, where's Rusev when Dolph comes? I thought this was feuding.
Yeah. Well, they changed his role. He's trying to get a championship gold or something. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get to the next topic here. This is kind of interesting. Sheamus, Wade Barrett versus Neville and Cesaro.
Yeah.
A nice little 2-on-2 match. What do you think about this one?
I think Neville and Cesaro as a tag couple, they have really good potential. But I really wanted to highlight how good of a performer Cesaro is. We haven't seen him in a while, but he really gets the crowd going, and he's such a in-ring talent. I can definitely see why Vince McMahon wanted to push him, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. You just got to give him a little chance on the mic, or maybe tweak his gimmick a little bit to make him either a babyface or a heel. Because right now you don't know. He's kind of a badass, but like also he helps the good guys. If you make it a little bit more concrete, give him good personality, his in-ring talent will send him far. I even want to see him feud with Kevin Owens. That would be a great pairing.
That would be. The problem with this is that historically Vince McMahon has not favored the foreigners like too much. If he did, it was mostly a Canadian, but these other guys, he really doesn't favor them.
Yeah, but you can't deny his in-ring talent, though.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. It's what Vince McMahon wants, ultimately. There's all the writers, but he has the final say. And historically, the foreigners don't win a lot of championships or don't get pushed over as much as the American wrestlers do. That's just the way I see it. One interesting thing I want to point out is that Sheamus, I'm glad he actually pinned someone. It's been a while since he's pinned someone, it feels like.
It's true.
Yeah.
But why are they making Neville lose to one finishers? I'm telling
you.
Week in, week out, he just gets knocked out.
Another thing is historically, Vince McMahon favors.
They don't like the high flyers.
He favors the big, muscular, steroid-looking guys.
The monsters.
The monsters, the real heavyweights.
Undertakers, those big, scary-looking dudes.
Add on the fact that he's a foreigner.
Yeah,
he's
true.
That's what's gonna happen.
But they were doing some really funky things, as a duo in the ring. They were doing some combinations.
When he carried him over his shoulders, Neville, and then he threw him outside the ring. That was really
nice. Or even
nice.
the in-ring one where he grabbed his heel and he did the backflip and he stomped on him right after.
Look
it's
at
good
this.
chemistry. It's good things.
Take a look at this. So Neville and Barrett are both English. Okay, Sheamus is Irish, Cesaro is Swiss.
Yeah.
They had 4 of the foreigners fighting in one match together.
Yeah, and it was a super quick match.
Yeah, it's super am I the only one who's noticing this?
And they're not pushing the Money in the Bank. I know we harped on this last week, but nothing's changed. I don't even notice that he has a suitcase.
I just think that this is such a strange thing how he's putting the 4 foreigners in a match, and the biggest one is the New Day. If you notice, he put all the black guys in one team.
Conspiracy theories?
I'm telling you, this is just how it is. It's historically like that every time. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
It's an interesting thought, but I don't think there's much we can do to...
No, but it's just interesting to touch up on it.
Food for
that's
thought.
What's happening.
Food for thought.
Yeah. So we'll get to the next one here. This is a really funny one, actually. Roman Reigns has a promo, and it's been a while since he had a promo of this length. So what do you think about this one? It was quite lengthy for him.
Yeah, I can see why it's been a while.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to work on his promo skills. I think his biggest flaw for promos, though, is when the crowd gives him flack. he takes it personally. He feels like he's like when the crowd boos him, it feels like, you can see it in his demeanor. His feelings are literally hurt.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, what, you guys can't hear me or something? Like
Yeah.
then it completely throws off his concentration. And another thing I noticed for his promos is he can't decide between being a badass and like a guy that you kind of want to be an underdog. He talks super tough, then he's like, I do it for my daughter.
Yeah.
So you gotta switch it up. So I don't understand what you're going for.
And
here.
then he like has that cancer thing last week. Just
yeah, but that's kind of separate. But like
yeah, but he's being a badass, but he's also at the same time.
Yeah, he definitely needs work on his promos. He just stutters, loses his thing, and then whenever the crowd gives him more flack, he gets more nervous. Then it gets worse. And I feel bad when it's one of those solo like promos. Nobody can save him.
No one can save him.
Nobody can interject, and
He reacted to the crowd twice.
In a bad way. Well,
I've never seen that happen before. Usually it'll be one thing that they'll address what the crowd said, but this was actually twice.
No, but real superstars, they play off the crowd.
They play off.
They don't take it personally. They bounce right off and they use it in their promo.
John Cena
on the fly.
John Cena is the best at that.
Yeah, you can absorb it, but this guy, he's literally hurt.
He's
you
hurt.
You can tell his body language and demeanor. He's like, he gets nervous when the crowd gets really riled up. When they're saying boring.
Oh man!
And then you see he's like sweating a little bit.
He was skipping over his words at the beginning, and then he was kind of like
you can see he's like trying to memorize a script.
Exactly.
He can't do things on the fly.
And then another thing is he keeps repeating the same things. Basically, he's saying, "I whooped his ass last week," and then he's like, "Yeah, next time I'm gonna whoop your ass again." Like he's saying the same type of thing constantly.
Yeah, but I thought they were gonna end it like 2 Raws ago.
Yeah, it literally makes no sense.
I told you, man, we're stuck in limbo.
Yeah,
we've seen this play out how many times?
A lot of times.
Too many times.
His mic skills need some major work. I am not even exaggerating here. This is the worst.
Do you think
on the mic I've ever heard in my life?
Would it be better if he had like an advocate, Paul Heyman styles?
I feel like it's already been done so many times. I think he just needs to not be as top tier as he is. I'm afraid to say it. He's not as good of a wrestler or talented as they're making him seem that he is. The
kids do like him, I think.
Yeah, but the WWE can make the kids like anybody, and they made the kids like him, which was a huge mistake. And I think
because his character should just be more cutthroat.
If he was a bad guy, his role would be way better. His is just awful right now.
Yeah, especially like he can be one of those bad guys who don't say much. They just come and speak through, like they'll come randomly, interrupt the match, spear this guy for no reason, and only explain himself minorly, and he doesn't have to answer to the crowd or whatever because he's the bad guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All in all, to me, I think he's probably one of the worst wrestlers that is being pushed so hard. Like even of all time, I'm gonna go that far. Of all time, he's the worst wrestler to be being pushed this much.
You can see why though, because of his exterior package, lineage.
Yeah, exactly.
Work. But the substance, come on, man.
1 out of 10. What are you gonna give him?
His promo. Okay, I'm gonna be a little generous. Okay. It was a cringe-worthy marginal pass. I'll give it a 5.
We give it a 5. Okay, that is very generous of you. I don't see things that way actually. I'm gonna give him a 0 out of 10.
Is this WBR first in history? 0.
I am gonna give Roman Reigns' promo on Raw October 12th live from Chicago a 0 out of 10. It was not worth the 4 or 5 minutes that it was.
5 minutes. Name 3 things you'd rather done in those 5 minutes.
I would literally stare at a wall rather than listening to this.
Okay,
this was unbelievably bad.
Yep. All right.
So and the fact that he beats Braun Strowman via countout, but we don't need to talk about that.
The match itself was
like it was just bad, and they're making Strowman look bad already. They pushed.
But they're making him look so powerful. What's the point of him fighting the wife ham? Just send this guy. He doesn't get knocked down. It's like just choke him out every week.
They could have just done that. Yeah.
It's like no, but you have
consistency. It goes back to that.
It's like, but you have to settle this 1-on-1. It's like, but why? So why am I fighting your goon this week?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to the next topic. I'm sick of talking about Roman Reigns, actually. So Rusev loses clean again to Ryback, and then Summer Rae comes out, talks about the TMZ thing, how he's engaged to Lana or whatever. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? We'll just do this one really quick. the match itself, he basically just loses to Ryback.
Well, it's nice
whatever.
to put Ryback over. I hope this is like a new direction for Rusev, though. I said this last week.
Hope so.
I really don't like this love triangle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just let this be over, change him, and he just becomes a dominant force, and he'll be in the IC run without Summer Rae and like a assistant with him all the time. Just make him a solo guy. He's a good talent. He's in I think he's in the right tier at the moment.
Yeah.
Just don't do this love triangle.
Give
thing.
him like what I was thinking, 3 weeks off. Everyone kind of forgets about him, and then bring him back, like maybe at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Screw over somebody, have a new feud, and make him powerful again without this whole love triangle.
So hit the reset button and make him powerful. And
exactly.
Use him how he should be
Make
used.
people forget about him with like 3 weeks.
It's that simple, yeah.
Yeah, that's simple.
Okay, let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm done with that.
Last thing about that is Summer Rae's mic skills was really impressive. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think it was up like what she was promoting or saying in her mic was really up her alley though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's really her cup of tea.
But I mean, especially after Roman Reigns' promo, think about it. That was the next promo that happened, and that was
it was day and night.
Yeah, day and night. That's exactly it. So we'll go on to the next one here, which is the main event. It was Demon Kane versus Seth Rollins in the lumberjack match. This had a lot of little things going on with it. It was a long match just because of everything that happened.
Yeah.
What do you think overall how this went?
I noticed a few things in this match.
Okay, yeah, there's a few things.
At the very start, I thought all the whole roster was supposed to be out, but it's like all the main superstars weren't really out. Like John Cena's not there, Dean, Randy, the Wyatt family. I guess it doesn't really make sense, but usually lumberjack matches is supposed to be everybody out.
Yeah,
that's
usually.
one thing. But I really actually enjoyed this lumberjack match and the way it was booked because it felt like a 2000s Raw episode where at the end all hell breaks loose and there's like a clear faction of the good guys and the bad guys, and you know they're everybody's fighting against each other. I really enjoy that aspect, you know. And then like I said earlier, the New Day, the monkey wrench, they come, they drag Kane, they start beating him up. It's like it makes perfect sense that the New Day would do that.
Yeah.
What didn't make sense though was Kane randomly just punches Big Show and like, you know, then he gets knocked out. It's like I don't get it. I thought
and
it was
then
the
he
same
kicks
guy.
out from it. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool, but it's like kind of
yeah,
random.
but it's random. It doesn't.
It's
really
like random,
make sense.
but the way the New Day and their whole persona, they saw the opportunity, dragged them out of the ring, started beating him up, and all the quote unquote bad guys of the roster started stomping him too. Then the good guys came. It was really reminiscent of more Attitude Era where the main event you don't know what's gonna go on.
Yeah, that's true. The key thing I took away from this is the New Day, like you were saying, how they had a whole like thing that they were trying to do, make Kane lose type of thing, help out Seth Rollins. But the thing I took away from it was when they were in the ring, they got everybody, all the lumberjacks, to stop whatever they were doing, and they had their little dance, and he was going to do that like splash, and everybody was kind of following their lead and waiting for them.
Yeah.
As if they were commanding what was happening.
The
like,
commentary pointed this out too. I think,
they come.
Yeah, I think
they're
they're really trying to put the nail in the coffin that they're the new superpower.
Oh yeah.
I think it was Michael Cole. He was like, the New Day is directing traffic.
Oh yeah.
Well, before he did the
That's
demon, the sit up thing. But
that's the
that
one
was
thing I really
cool.
liked about it. They're commanding the whole roster basically.
Yeah.
So
But
who knows what's gonna happen like later?
Yeah, but what about Seth losing clean? He's been losing clean
well,
quite
it was
a bit.
it was even like worse than that because they helped him win, but he lost.
Yeah.
Like they were helping everything. Like New Day, all the bad guys that he got, and then Kane got out punched by Big Show,
So
and he still won.
Is this just to set him up for glory in the pay-per-view?
I absolutely think so. I absolutely think that
because
Seth Rollins is going
making
to
him
win.
look really weak.
Yeah. So then everybody maybe during the pay-per-view is going to think he's going to lose because of this. And then something is going to happen, like a surprise. Maybe New Day will come in and make Kane lose.
That's
that
true,
type of thing.
that's
Who
true.
knows? And then maybe like they'll talk to Seth after and be like, you owe us one. And then maybe Seth will help them win the U.S. title against John Cena or something.
Yeah.
And then John Cena's gone for 3 weeks or whatever weeks.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind factions again. Like,
Yeah.
just that idea of the good guys, bad guys, and random guys just come interrupt, help each other out. It's like, I love that stuff. Like, more Attitude Era-esque, right?
Okay.
But, yeah. One last thing that has nothing to do with the match, like the bookings of Raw, I wanted to ask was, there was zero promo except for the commercials for the Hell in a Cell, like the main event, with Brock and Undertaker. Did you like that more or less? Because nobody came in the ring and had a mic promo about. There's no Paul Heyman segment. They didn't really talk about it much, which made me not think about the pay-per-view as much. But did you like that more or less?
I liked. Actually, this is a really good question. I loved it because you focused more on the Raw at hand, and they made a pretty good Raw, I thought, compared to last week's.
I think
last week's was awful. And another thing is, they're gonna save that promo for the weeks that are coming. There's 2 more weeks until the pay-per-view. I don't want to hear Paul Heyman 3 weeks in a row have a promo. So the fact that they didn't do it today or during the Raw, and you focused more on the Raw itself, I thought that actually helped.
It's
I thought
good,
it helped
right?
a lot.
It's a great period to build other stories. And
because
then the last week, they'll really just push the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, so many of the times that they'll make Raw just an advertisement for the pay-per-view. This one, they barely even mentioned it. Which was great, right? Which was great. It made the Raw itself, especially for the people who are watching it live in the arena.
Yeah.
That's, like, imagine we were watching it there. It would be upsetting if all they do is talk about the Hell in a Cell and the pay-per-views and all that. It was a great show, and I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, so with that being said, we covered pretty much everything. We left out a couple not important things. But what are you going to rate the entire Raw out of 10?
Honestly, it felt like a pretty quick Raw for, usually the 3-hour segments, there's some parts where it's dragged on. I think they did a really good job this week.
Okay.
I'll give it a solid 7.5, 8. Pretty good Raw for me.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. I'm gonna take away Roman Reigns' promo.
Yep.
And a little bit of the Rusev part, and I'm gonna give this Raw a 9 out of 10.
Like, you're willing to look the other way.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore those, and as if I never even watched them, they didn't exist. I'm gonna give this Raw a 9 out of 10 actually, just because it was so much better than last week's, and it was so refreshing to see a Raw that really focused on the entertainment of that episode itself.
And a couple of new potential ideas, right?
Yeah, especially the beginning. I love, minus the very beginning when Kane was on the phone, but Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton coming in at the beginning. I love that. I loved everything else besides those 2 things I said, Roman Reigns. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. All right. Very good Raw.
Favorite part of Raw?
My favorite part of Raw, I have to say, it was the Dolph Ziggler performance.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler was amazing. I'm not too big of a fan of his before this, just because I kind of am biased as well. He's small, undersized, but amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
For me, Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods.
The Derrick Rose line.
Yeah.
And just the way he screams outside and his antics, even when he's getting chokeslammed, he's back. He's like, no.
Yeah.
It's just so entertaining. He's my guy.
Xavier Woods. He deserves all the credit in the world right now. Him and the New Day, the whole team. So, that's it for us today, guys. That's Raw October 12th from Chicago, and we'll see you guys next time.